Good evening, viewers, and welcome to The Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Tshuka, and I'll be your host. So, The Price of Fame is a podcast that focuses on the real stories about the journey to success, from the moment of realizations of one's gift or purpose. And in these conversations, we aim to shed the light on the hardships, the sacrifices, and the mindsets our guests have to overcome to achieve their current positions in their career. And these are their stories. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest is a full-time plus-size model and a queen at body positivity. She's a multi-award-winning businesswoman and the founder of Embrace Your Curves. She's also done so many radio, newspaper, and magazine interviews and appeared on popular TV shows. And she's recently came out with her own design in plus-size active wear as well as curvy bridal wear. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome to the screen the beautiful, the sassy, and confident boss lady. She go by the name of Candice Manuel.
That's quite an intro, Lunga. Thank you.
Absolutely true. Absolutely. And I left a lot of things out, and you know I left a lot of things out, but yo, we're going to get into most of all of that stuff now. Candice, thank you so much for joining me on The Price of Fame. It's really a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show. Really looking forward to getting to know who you truly are and what has basically made you who you are, you know, all those uphill challenges and all that stuff. And I'm sure the industry that you're in is a very, very tough industry, and you've basically dominated, you know. So we're going to get into all of those juiciness and find out how tough it was and how amazing it was as well. But before we get into all of that, how are you this evening?
Cool. I'm excited.
Lovely.
I'm excited. Baby is busy bathing. Daddy's bathing baby at the moment. So this is a bit of some me time for me. So I'm excited. Yeah. Weather is amazing in Cape Town. So
cool. Like the thing is, I know that you obviously just recently had a baby, and I was thinking by shame, man, I didn't want to keep you too long away from the baby, but you're saying now it's actually me time. So okay, how long do you actually want to keep this? I usually go hour max, but if you want 2 hours, let the husband take care of the baby. Are you there, Candice? Ooh, it's a bit glitchy. Look like she's still talking about baby. It's like baby. Okay, so let's give it a couple of seconds and see if we can get Candice back. Are you back? Yay!
are we back?
Can you? Yeah.
I don't know what happened. My phone
You mustn't talk
still
about
showed full
your pandemic.
connection and
Everything goes
I
wrong.
don't know. I don't know what happened there.
Baby.
uh, uh, that's the real time
So
life,
okay.
I suppose.
Yeah, shame. Let's not keep it too long away from the baby because it's still very at this stage is very much she needs a mother and all that connection. So she might start wondering, hey, where's this? She's gonna feel the beard. It's like, that's normal. All right. So can you tell us how has 2021 been treating you? I mean, with all of this that has been happening and you becoming a new mother, you know, and all of these things. So how's the year been for you?
For 2021, I must say it's definitely a lot better than 2020 was. For one, I became a mom about 3 months ago. So I had a very easy pregnancy, easy delivery. So I've been really blessed in that sense. So yeah, I do feel like it's a bit of a trick though, because I think God's trying to get me to do it again. So I'm not going to fall for it so easily. But yeah, in a nutshell, 2021 has it's really opened up a lot more doors than what I didn't expect it to go as good as it's going now, because I thought with the baby and everything changing, my industry, my career, everything's going to be put on hold. But the industry has been very welcoming, and I mean, my audience as well has also been growing in the sense of it being moms that are now joining in board and following me and being a part of my
Yeah.
journey. So it's it's
Wow.
it's quite interesting.
That's so cool. I mean, like usually, like especially back in the day, if someone like, for example, someone in your line of work as a model, and being in the public figure, once you have like hit pregnancy, that kind of that things usually used to count against you, then you'd either take a
Yeah,
break from modeling and all of that stuff. But like
yeah.
I've been keeping up with the Candashians page, and I've been seeing like you've been doing shoots throughout, and you've been doing brand collaborations throughout your pregnancy. Has that been
Yeah,
like a challenge for you, or kind of like a blessing for you to still be able to work and also generate money while you're still busy
yeah.
with your pregnancy?
Yeah, I think for me, because my pregnancy was, like I say, fairly easy, I had no complications. So I think that played a big role in the sense of me being able to still work with other brands and being able to broaden my brand in the sense of now including moms into the clientele that I'm now including into my brand. So
Yeah,
I think that's the reason why it made it so much easier. But also, I
right.
must say that with the benefit of being a curve model, I'm able to have the baby and get back into business a lot quicker. With with a few odds and ends here where I have to do updated Polaroids and measurements and stuff, but I didn't have the worry of having to slim down too much after the baby to get back into business.
Yeah. That's so cool. And look, I'm gonna ask a question. It could be a little too personal, so feel free if you don't want to answer that. That's absolutely fine. It's not part of the
I'm
question. So
open. I don't hide
no,
anything, so it's
so I know a couple of friends and close people who like also had babies in last year. Yeah, especially when the pandemic was like rough and everything. And I know the restrictions and the conditions like of giving birth, like you couldn't have your partner with you in
yeah,
hospital. Did you face any of those challenges this year? Because I haven't heard of anyone giving birth in this year, and you're the only person that I know that has
yeah.
given birth in this year. So did you also face those hospital restrictions challenges where your husband couldn't join you?
It was very, very scary. So my husband wasn't allowed in for any of my visits at the gynae.
Yeah,
So, and I mean, it's our first child, so I had to go through that all alone.
yeah,
He was not allowed to come into any scans, any visits, which is so scary because you're sitting there and you're just expecting the worst with each visit. And if
yeah.
anything should have happened, I would have had to deal with it alone. Um, Thankfully, with the delivery, he was allowed in, but also that was like through the skin of his teeth because he had to go for his COVID test. We both had to go the Wednesday, and the Thursday morning I gave birth. So because we were expected to go into theater the Friday, I had a C-section booked, but then my baby came a day earlier naturally. So if we didn't have the COVID test done, he would have missed it because I gave birth so quickly. Within a space of 5 minutes, if he didn't make it into the hospital in time, he would have missed it. So that was a bit sad for me in the sense of we had to plan our complete hospital visit and everything around this pandemic. But it had its blessings, I didn't have any visitors in hospital. So I could be at peace, I could sleep, I could rest. Um, Also coming home with a baby, people generally respect your home a lot more now in the sense of not coming to visit the baby in the first month. So it had its ups and downs, and it just worked out in the end, I suppose.
Yeah. And tell me with the whole venture, like I mean, like you said, when you were going through your pregnancy, your brand actually grew because now you're representing for mothers as well. And it's not just
Yeah.
any mothers, it's curvy mothers now. So can you tell me about that? Was that something that you intentionally put out there, or was that something that just started to happen? We're like, wow, look at the position that I'm in now, and I'm just going with the
Yeah.
flow.
Yeah. I must be honest, Lunga, in the sense of, with us in the media industry, you have to plan your every move because it's such a hustle every single day. So
Absolutely.
when 2020 hit, my husband and I were not bored, but we did sit back and say, life is standing still. I mean, there were no events to do. My shoots were limited as well because there weren't international clients coming over for TV commercials. So in that sense, we took a pause and said, we might as well do this now, else we're never going to. With what you just said earlier, in the sense of when you're in the media industry, you do feel like it's going to take a knock on your career, which is why I was so hesitant to do it to begin with.
Okay.
So with that, 2020 was a blessing in the sense of you pause, you realize that life is standing still right now. So it gives you opportunity and that window to try and grow your family. And then along with that, it was my intention to then maximize on it for exposure, in the sense of I started documenting my journey from start to finish so that people could then be a part of this journey, because I knew if I'm going to be on a pause or a break with my modeling career, I can at least still continue my content creation, in the sense of broadening now to they call it a momfluencer space, where there's moms following, and you just start meeting new women, you start meeting people in the industry, you also start learning from one another. So although it's benefited me in my brand perspective, it's also really connected me with so many moms that I learned so much from as well.
Wow, that is so cool. I mean, and you can also share so much information with these guys in the industry and as a mom, so that's so
Yeah,
cool because it just opens your network very, and it helps you
definitely.
moving forward as well. So you can even do a
Yeah,
mom shoot as well. So that will be cool.
yeah.
Um, let's take it to the beginning. Did you always see yourself as the powerful woman that you are, owning businesses and doing all of these things, breaking barriers, or was there a time when you weren't this Candice? When let's take it back to the beginning, the very very young
Yeah,
Candice who stepped into this. Can you describe what you were like at the time that you were
sure.
in?
So a very, very young Candice was a shy Candice, not outspoken at all. Um, I had very few friends. I was always to myself at school. So I think I was about 14 years old when I started entering pageants at church and taking part in fashion shows. And that's when I started realizing that this is something that I quite enjoy. Fast forwarding to when I was about 16, I got signed at a agency. They no longer exist, probably because I'm not there. And then, um, so yeah, I got signed to this agency, and then at the age of 18, they actually terminated my contract because I started putting on weight. And when I say putting on weight, Lunga, it was literally a size 10, which in today's day and age is like an average size woman. So they terminated my contract because I was struggling to drop the weight. And, given the industry that we're in that time, it was very strict with mannequin sizes. So you either lose the weight or you cancel this whole idea of a modeling career. So that was me in a nutshell. As a teenager going through this industry, I gave up on it. I went into corporate, which I don't regret because it gave me the opportunity to study further while I was having, my own income. It also gave me the opportunity to learn more business ethics and to be in a corporate lifestyle. So fast forwarding from there, I was in the corporate industry for 15 years and then got scouted again. So I got scouted at the age of 29 and then signed as a plus size model at the size 18 jeans. So I was terminated at the size 10 and then re-signed at the size 18. And I've actually become a lot more successful, which I say humbly, in my career when I was bigger. But I also think it came along with a lot more confidence, and you just know yourself a bit more when you matured enough.
Mm,
So it probably
that
just
is
had to happen the way it should.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because, like, I mean, even that time that you took a gap from modeling, you didn't waste your time. You were literally
Yeah,
growing and your knowledge and all of that stuff, and also with the business and the corporate world. And look at you now today. You own your own business, you own your own
yeah,
brand, and you're doing these collaborations, and you know how to basically handle yourself. You don't need like someone to tell you, yeah, take you there. You can
yeah,
literally with your laptop and sort out your whole career, and that's
yeah.
so awesome because so that
It's
time was very necessary
yes.
if I'm saying it right. And
It definitely it definitely gave me that independence and that boost that I needed to mature and to understand the bigger aspects apart from being a model on stage or a runway model or. So it gave me the opportunity to mature in the sense of learning like I say, business ethics in the sense of then me being able to manage my own business and also learning about what's important before I take the step into doing it full time.
Mhm. And with the part where you said that, like when you started to gain just a little bit and then they cut you out, obviously the industry was undeveloped at the time. Is that,
Yeah.
was that like a general kind of thing for females in general, or was that for a specific kind of category? For example, if you want to do runway, then you have to be a certain thing, or like, well, like with today, when I went to my agent, I told them I want to do more stills. They told me, okay, seeing that I'm working out, I shouldn't get too big because I'm supposed to fit in a certain size of clothing and that kind of thing. So there's little
Yeah.
guideline or little limitations that you have to, if you want to fit in a specific category. So
Yes.
my question is, with you, when they blocked you, was it just for a specific category, or was it like completely like, no, we can't take females that are a bigger size than a certain size that we looking for? Hey, Candice, you still with us? She looked like she's looking at me like, like, what kind of a question is that? All right. So we're having a little bit of technical difficulty on Candice's side. So hopefully we can get back to that in a couple of seconds. Hey.
Sorry, Lunga. Yeah, I thought
So
I'll rather just switch positions because I think it's my signal that's dropping every time. So let's hope that this is a lot better.
yeah, I mean, it's even lighter though. All of a sudden there's a light now in this room.
Yeah.
The room was starting to get,
Uh, yeah, I'm
it
in
was
my
starting to,
baby's nursery now, so
yeah, it was starting to look like
sorry
a horror
about that.
movie. Like, okay.
Yeah, I think
you,
it's the connection on my
you just
side.
sit, sorry, you just needed to sit there with a torch. I would have like complete the whole horror movie.
Uh, yeah,
So
sorry about that.
sorry. No, it's all good. We're still
So,
here. So the question that I asked, the time when they kind of like blocked you, was it just for a specific category, or was that the criteria period for females?
I think at the time they weren't really that open to curved models as yet. Um,
Okay.
you, if you did see it, you would only see it as older women. Like the stores that I've done campaigns for the past few years, I always classed as the mom brand. You like a Oma brand, or you just see it as this old church clothes. You don't see it as fashion forward brands.
Yes.
So if there were any curved brands, it wasn't for a 16-year-old girl like I was.
Yeah.
So I think that is the difference in where we are now, where they are actually opening it up to a sense of having a bit more obsessed to it, where it's younger women. It's more fluid in the sense of your local retail stores are also now stocking curved brands, because realistically, the average teenage girl isn't always going to fit in a size 6 jeans. So we have to
Yes.
open it up to the real client out there, and that is an average woman of all shapes and sizes. Not
Yes.
steering away from, the petite range or the skinnier range, because that's something that also triggers me a bit in the sense of people are becoming um, body positive, but then they start bashing skinnier women. It's about
Mm,
equality and about seeing as we are all women, we are all beautiful, we are all differently built, we are all in our own shapes and sizes. So I think that's the importance that we are moving towards now within the industry.
absolutely. So, and the movement of body positivity, that's obviously with the making, like bringing awareness to people in the industry that you are also accepted and you are also beautiful. Because, like you said, back in the day, it was very, the mindset was just like, if you're not, like, if
Very
you don't
narrow
look
minded, yeah.
chicks in the magazines, and then you're probably not healthy or you're probably not good or whatever. And let's be
Yeah,
real, because now we're representing actually real people, real women, because this is what real women look like, you know? And
exactly.
also to uplift real people and not only to focus to a specific crowd, a specific kind of people. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a challenge. Do you have something you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just felt like, when I was going through body changes or, developing into the woman I am today, I didn't see people like me portrayed in TV commercials or in magazines. So if I was a consumer and I wanted to purchase clothing, that was a client that was lost. So I think brands are doing it for their own benefit as well, in the sense of them growing and extending their sizes now so that they can see the more clients you reach and the more people become comfortable with themselves, it's also more money in their pockets as well.
Yeah. Actually, tell us a little bit about Embrace Your Curves. What is that? What is that about? And what do you do with that platform?
So, Embrace Your Curves is a platform that I started on Facebook, which was initially just a page where I was posting pictures of me on the beach, cellulite and all. And I never expected it to get to the I've reached about 26,000 followers on Facebook now with that platform, and it's something that I didn't expect to grow as quickly as it did. People started feeding into me being comfortable, which was something that I couldn't understand because I was just posting pictures about myself. There was nothing inspiring behind it, but because
Yes.
it was so taboo at the time where it wasn't seen on social media or in the media industry, people got drawn into it and inspired by it. And when I realized the magnitude of the following and the platform that I had, I realized that if this was my calling, it needs to be put to good use as well. So I then started using the platform to host quarterly nonprofit events. It would literally be at a nightclub where your entry would be a pack of sanitary towels and you can come in and enjoy some entertainment. It would be champagne events. It would never be anything too fancy or nothing that's going to cost too much, because it's just for me to gather a crowd together in a sense of coming together, donating. We did blanket drives, toy collections, and I then realized that if I could do something so simple by bringing a crowd together to do good, then I might as well put my platform for that use. COVID did, however, has it have its knock on the industry, because then events weren't allowed any longer. But then I continued doing some initiatives on social media, but then
Mm.
shifting more to Instagram because that's where I'm more engaging with my followers. So I still continue to do sanitary towel collections. I'm currently busy with a knitting initiative as well that my mom created, where we are knitting for newborn babies in hospitals, orphan babies. So unwanted babies can be clothed as well. And we're trying to do this over the festive season period.
That's amazing. Wow. Look, please, I'm at the end of the interview. Obviously, I will give you an opportunity to drop all the links and how we can get involved with that. So please punt it. That sounds amazing. And I'm all for giving
Cool.
back in chat. So I would love to also hear where the avenues where we can, come together and help each other out. But before we get to
Cool.
all of that, let's get to some of the challenges. Ooh, the tough
Ah.
times. Oh, Lord. Ooh. Let's get to some of those challenges. Can you please describe some of the challenges that you feel that could have either be life changing or something that kind of like propelled you forward, in your journey growing up? Especially like I'm from Mitchell's Plain, and sometimes we're faced with gangsterism and drugs and all of those kind of things. If you had any of those things that was also kind of like a challenge in your community or even in the
Mm.
household, you please share some of those with us, please.
So I'm from Portland, Lunga, also Mitchell's Plain. Um, and as you know, the circumstances that's faced within those communities, um, even if it's not as bad as what it seems, which it is, but even if you don't experience those types of social economical circumstances, it has this stigma attached to it already. So um, coming from Mitchell's Plain, you do know that it's surrounded by gangsterism and drugs. But although it wasn't something that I could say really affected me personally, the minute I met people, that was the challenge for me. People would say, "Oh, so where you from?" And I'd say, "I'm from Mitchell's Plain." And then they'd say, "You don't look like you're from Mitchell's Plain." And it would upset me so much because I would always say, "What does Mitchell's Plain look like? Am I supposed to look like poverty? Am I supposed to look like gangsterism? Am I supposed to look like drug abuse, teenage pregnancy, all the circumstances that surrounds us?" So I then realized that instead of getting so triggered by it, I probably need to just see it for what it is that is generally the circumstances of the community. Um, which is why I then started changing the narrative in the sense of when I do explain that I'm from Mitchell's Plain, I say it proudly in the sense of I've overcome my circumstances. I mean, we never grew up with money. I wanted to study. We didn't have money to go and study, which is why I then went into corporate life when modeling didn't work out at the time. So I feel like those types of challenges does mold you in the sense of you become so street smart and you become a bit ruthless in the sense of you feel like you have a lot more to prove when so many labels are thrown at you. So for one, I've already now been thrown with the label of being too fat for the industry, an industry that I really want to be a part of. Then you're
Mhm.
facing the challenge of being a colored woman coming from Mitchell's Plain, for example. So I think my life has always been driven in the sense of trying to shatter labels to get to a point where I want to prove to people from Mitchell's Plain that I can still do it. You know, even though I was growing up in an area that said I can't. Um, I wanted to also pursue a modeling career, a career that people said would never happen for a woman of my shape or size. So the challenges that I would say I faced, I think, is something that we all face on a day-to-day basis. But perseverance is the only thing that's got me this far. I didn't really allow any of those to define me in that sense.
That's so cool, and I mean, like, that's the mindset that you always need, right? Because our places and our circumstances do not define us. We define who we are, and by making
Exactly.
like positive mind change and set, and also doing the choices that we make, and with an industry that you're in, that is so much like kind of like a lot of work opportunities based on your validation in terms of like how much numbers you have or how popular you are and that kind of thing. So those things really mean a lot to us in terms of people's feedback and people's support. When you get
Yeah.
a troll coming in now and then, commenting bad things and all that kind of stuff, and because we've already set our minds and our hearts to that, this is the people that we are reaching, and this is what and what they say and how we affect them means a lot to us. So when the trolls come in,
Exactly.
people always like, whatever, ignore it. It's not easy to ignore it because you come there with an open heart and you put your life out
Exactly.
there. People that don't even know you can say the worst things about you and can sometimes can really mess things up in your mind.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with any of these trolls, and how do you overcome them, especially for up and girls who are in the same industry that also need maybe
Yeah.
that bit of advice just to find out, okay, this is how I actually find my strength and who matters and who doesn't matter?
Yeah. So that the last sentence is very important to me because one of my phrases that I live by is what matters is who matters as well. So it's an interesting question because I really never know how to answer it in the sense of realistically we do have trolls, we have those haters. They comment what they want to. People has shared my picture, said what they want to, tagged my
Wow.
name in it. And then when you actually confide in someone about it, then the first words out of their mouth is always, but you chose this industry. I think people kind of forget that there's still a human being behind the profile, and that although you open yourself up to so much and you are allowing people into your homes and into your hearts, it doesn't give anybody the right to hate on you or to look. You don't need to like me. It's okay. But to verbalize something like that, I think they don't realize the magnitude of it on somebody's mental health and how that actually affects them. Because you're putting yourself out there for the sense of trying to build your brand, trying to be as transparent as possible. And then you get
Yes.
someone that says, oh, but I actually don't like your hair color like that. You better as a blonde or
Mm.
whatever. And then you sit back and then you think, thank you for your opinion, but when did it become a thing that this was an issue for you to actually go and post about it? So I find it quite interesting that people can hide behind the keyboards and say what they want to, which is why it leaves me feeling like a bit of a hypocrite at times, because as much as I want to open up and be honest about all
Mm.
aspects of my life, I try and not give it too much attention because I don't want to feed the devil. You don't want to um, feed the beast. Sorry, you don't want to be able to give them the opportunity to actually boast
Yeah.
and grow from it. I remember a friend of mine, also a content creator, actually said to me, if AKA and Youngster had to have this type of fallout, is AKA trying to get Youngsters followers, or is Youngster trying to get AKA's followers? And then it made me realize that the minute I open up and name and shame someone, it will only be
Mm.
giving them PR, which is
Uh,
unnecessary. So I try and deal with that part of my career privately, um, which is very, very hard at times. But I know it's probably not me being as transparent as I want to be, but I'm also not going to allow that to define my platform and to actually feed into it as well. But they
Absolutely.
are
And
there. They
yeah,
definitely
no,
there.
I mean, I've battled with one also, what even commenting on me, but they were commenting on another chick that's trying to work out and stuff. And guys was and the thing is that you get guys and females, it's not just like the one you just get like maybe guys or whatever, get other females, it comes on both sides. And now I got so upset and I was so triggered, like, why do people look for negativity? And like you say, if you don't like it, scroll past, make your own
Exactly.
day. I'm not
Yeah,
here. I don't to make your day. If I put on something that doesn't like sit well with you, scroll past. You don't have to create
exactly.
any like negative energy and back and forth banter. Like seriously, come on, guys.
Yeah.
And like
It,
it's really, really
it's
crazy.
also always a sense of who said what type of thing. So I just try to not say anything at all, which is also difficult because you're trying to also defend yourself because it's human nature to try and speak up for yourself. But the minute you speak
Yeah.
up, then you are seen as a troll as well. So I guess it's the industry can't be as rosy as we want it to be all the time.
Yeah. And I think what you're doing in terms of like holding back certain personal things, you're just protecting your space. You're just
Yeah,
protecting your personal life and you're just protecting, like you say, your mental health because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to deal with it. You're the one who must heal. You're the one who must light candles here and light safe the house, do all of these ceremonies, all these things. So you are,
um,
and there's nothing with and
exactly.
in
Yeah.
like with your whole career and everything, I mean, like you had to figure things a lot out by yourself and you had to make things happen for yourself and also become a businesswoman. Have you had any mentors along your journey that maybe stepped in and helped you with a lot of either with the modeling or just with becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So I definitely had a mentor since the age of 14 when I started in pageantry, which was Margaret Corker. She had a modeling agency, which is where I started out with, where she did like grooming and rampway training and all those types of things. So what people don't know actually is that I don't just I didn't become an Instagram model. I'm actually been in this industry since the age of 14 where I was trained, and it's been a part of my life for so many years, actually 20 years now. So she was definitely my mentor in the sense of also teaching me business skills, because along with the training she gave us, she also then in school holiday programs, she would have us that were at the agency. We would then host a training facility at shopping centers. So then people would be doing shopping and they would drop the kids off with us. So it would be like a school holiday program, and then we would teach the girls basic ramp work or finishing, like finishing school or grooming, just to teach them some confidence as well. So a lot of people don't realize that I've actually been in this expressing positivity on other people since I was a young teenager already. And I think that's where the foundation came from, turning it into a business, turning it into a platform, and then just adding on with my journey. So we had started with confidence. I then, became curvier. I then increased that to then do body positivity. And then along with becoming a mom as well, to now continue in that body positivity with moms as well. So yeah, let's see where the next chapter lies. I'm
And
excited.
yeah, and for like up and coming female plus size models that are kind of like, trying it out, they're not too sure, and they maybe haven't joined an agent just yet. So they're first trying out social media and they're posting a little bit there. I mean, but it's probably also how you started at some point. what give us some golden tips or some golden gems for these guys. I mean, for these girls who are in the industry up and coming. How do they make their career success? Like, for example, like you didn't just model independent, that you developed a brand and you did some
Yeah,
background work. So can you give us some juicy tips that you can give to them that a lot of them are not aware of, that will actually help them to reach the level that you are?
yeah. If I can say anything first and foremost, I'm all for self love and body positivity. I just feel that the women of today feel that they need to take all their clothes off to become body positive. That's not the case. Um, I love a good shoot. I'm all about loving every inch of my body. So it's not something that I would say don't do, but also consider your brand for further than Instagram. Signing with agencies or being a part of a corporate brand, you also want to be sure that you are putting in the work now. So think consciously about what you post on social media. Don't get involved with any drama. Try and keep your name clean as much as possible. Um, and then also from there, realize that there is its requirements. So if it is a basic height requirement or a size requirement, although the industry is opening up for curvier girls, understand the industry first before you get your hopes up, because I get bombarded with DMs every single day. Hi Candice, I would like to become a model. Hi Candice, I would like to become a model. How do I become a model? Um, I'm not saying that don't go for it, but also be realistic in your goals, because you have to have a mindset towards it, and also understand that it's not the easiest industry. You would know, Lunga, with we go to 50 castings for the month and you book one job if you're lucky. You get rejected to your face. Oh, you're not actually what we were looking for. I actually
Yeah.
just did a self tape before I joined you for this interview. So I think if you open up your mind to the sense of fitting in with first doing your research on the requirements, opening up your mind to rejection, understanding that this is not rosy, it's not always as glamorous as it seems on social media. um, then make an informed decision about it, because I feel like people are too focused on the fluff and the rose petals and the rainbows and unicorns from social media.
Listen, Candice, now this is cool. This could be a tricky question because people can be so sensitive or whatever. And like again, if you feel that it's a sensitive topic, do not answer this one. So I would like to know, like for example, within the industry, right? So there's weights and that kind of thing. Once you hit a certain weight, then you are considered plus size. Is there like
Yeah,
a category it stops where like, okay, you can't go further than this because then you're out of plus size and then you're just seen as a bit overweight? Because
yeah,
with a lot of the with the body positivity movement, there isn't really like a stop. It's not just about
yeah,
curvy women. Yeah, any size actually is accepted with our movement. So is it the movement
yeah.
and the industry kind of the same, or with the industry, is it kind of like a block where they're like, okay, this is where we cut off? Because I can see with the movement it goes anyone, any size is welcome.
Yeah.
But industry, is there a cutoff for the industry?
Um, Not that I know of specifically, like I can't say that it's documented anyway, but I do know for sample sizes, for example, um, the size does range from for plus size to be considered plus size. It does range between a size 14 up to a 20, mainly because of the sample sizes that you do get when shooting the items. However, I have noticed that although um, women from a size 20 up, if they are not necessarily signed with the agency and they are a blogger or influencer, brands and clients for TV commercials are booking them as well in their own capacity. So I've gone to castings where it would be models sent from an agency, but there would also be influencers that are sent from personal blogs and stuff like that, and they also are then put forward for the TV commercials. So I can't say that there's a textbook answer in the sense of that size 20 is the cutoff, but
Yeah.
I think that they are swaying between using bloggers as well as signed models as well, but depending on the client, obviously.
Absolutely. Okay, that's kind of cool because it also because that was my worry. Like those who now go over that line, do they now also get the opportunities, or do they just have to join the movements or do because they
Yeah.
maybe pass the line? But it's cool that you're saying that the clients actually book the models within that category and they're also open to people who have presence on social media who are maybe
Yes.
above the category and that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time in your career where you felt, oh, sorry, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, it's just like touching on the whole weight issue around body positivity as well. I think that there's also a fine line in people assume that body positivity is promoting obesity in that sense. I think that people need to realize that you still need to have a I believe that body positivity is an holistic approach. So it still means, I mean, I still do my walks, I push the pram and I walk with my baby. Um, I might not be skinny, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to live an unhealthy life because that's not what I'm trying to promote. We
Yeah,
need to promote the sense of when you have self-love, it means that taking care of your body holistically, and not allowing that to kind of taint your image of what body positivity is actually all about. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to mention because it's a fine line between what we are actually putting out there.
that is so, I mean, true, because like at the same time, there is like the whole health issue, obviously when you reach a certain, like when you're talking about obesity, because now health issues come into play in terms of like your heart, heart disease and that kind of
Yeah.
things, all the other issues that comes with. So would you say that that are there some people that's kind of like riding the wave, or in terms of like that, or do you think that you get people like that, or do you think that it's all in terms or all for the love or that kind of thing?
Yeah. I don't even know how to answer that.
That would be
In a in a personal opinion, I do think that that is the case, and I feel like it sometimes takes away the sole purpose of what body positivity is about. So, I mean, I was interviewed. I was honored to be interviewed as one of the first plus size women to be interviewed in Women's Health SA, where they interviewed me doing workouts because they were trying to catch phrase the size, the phrase in the sense of saying, um, instead of saying skinny is the new healthy, they're trying to say that fit is the new healthy. So then,
that's
regardless of the size of your pants, it's more in the sense of the type of lifestyle that you're living. That's what being healthy is. It's not being skinny. That doesn't mean that you're healthy. So I think if we can open our mind to loving ourselves in that sense of taking care of our bodies, then I think
absolutely.
then we wouldn't be riding the wave, as you say.
Yeah, and I think you also mentioned it because you said there's a fine line, and that's where people maybe can get confused and then they don't know that they maybe just riding a wave, And like you said,
Yeah,
body positivity is not only about being positive in the size that you're in, it's also about a positive lifestyle. And a positive lifestyle
yeah,
is to take care of your body, is to eat and to exercise accordingly. Yes, we're not saying it's supposed to be skinny, but it's a lifestyle and a mindset. And it comes in
yeah,
all shapes and sizes. I've seen big people do amazing yoga poses that I can't even do.
definitely,
And that shows
definitely.
that than me in a certain way. Not necessarily to say that he has to be thin to be fit, but his
Yeah,
lifestyle, how he does and how he carries himself is a lot fit. So I guess that's where the line get blurred, where people can sometimes ride a wave and not understand the holistic approach to it. So I'm glad we're actually having
yeah,
that conversation and we're ironing that out, because I think that also puts just to some of these trolls that think they know it all. This was just to give some clarity in terms of like what this industry actually is about and what the movement is
yeah,
also what is about. And this is what I love the Price of Fame, because we get to hear all of these things. We get to hear the truth about who we are, that stuff. And that's because too many people feel like they have an opinion over famous people or people that are successful. They feel like they can just drop things there and feel like it's not
yeah,
going to matter. It matters. And like we said, we put our
yeah,
lives out there, we share our family with you and everything like that. And your feedback means a lot to us, business wise
yeah,
and in terms of like what we are doing and what we're putting out there. So
yeah,
when they come
definitely.
with commentary and all of that stuff, it gets kind of difficult. Was there ever a time in your career where you felt like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with this industry. I'm done with all of this stuff. I'm gonna move to Australia and I'm gonna change my life. Okay, maybe not that. Maybe not that intense. I feel like I just want to hang up my boots and just make some
Yeah.
time for myself. Do you ever have a moment like that?
Um, on the odd occasion, when you're down to costing number 65 and you're still being rejected, it does take a bit of a knock on you. But apart from that, I have had my moments where trolls, for example, where it started getting to a point where I started feeling, is this actually worth it? Is it worth me sitting reading these comments about myself? It's easy for people to say, ignore it, don't feed into it. But I started getting to a point where I wanted to actually pull back from this industry because I felt like my success was actually bothering people. Until I got a wake up call and said to myself, I've come so far to try and smash all the labels in the sense of, I mean, I've walked runways which were only built for skinnier women, and I've been able to walk in SA Fashion Week, and um, I sit back and then I think, is this really all going to fall to the ground just because of one person saying what they saying their opinion about me? So it's had its moments when it's very, very difficult to try and put that aside and actually continue. But then I think when you grow from it and you realize that when you become more secure in yourself and know that this is more about them than it is about you, um, you can actually move forward and then just carry on with what you set out to do, because I do feel like it's my purpose. I feel like I wouldn't be successful, I wouldn't be continuing to do what I was doing if it wasn't set out for me. So
Yes.
bring it on. I will take it one in my stride.
I love what you said because that's the mindset that actually gets your strength back. It's more about them than more about than what they
Yeah,
actually say to you, you know.
yeah.
Because I've learned that whatever you say or what you put out there is a reflection of what's inside.
Oh,
So if you're putting out
definitely.
stuff, then that's what you see and that's what you cook up inside and that's what you absorb whenever you see something. And in NLP, I learned that we all perceive things differently. Like you and I could go to a dance class, the same instructor, the same beat, but we're going to dance differently because we pick up on different
Exactly.
things like that. And if I'm going to be negative,
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, this dancer is a bit too fast or whatever. You're going to be like, oh my word, I love this, it's a workout. And then someone going to be like, oh, the moves are so cool. And someone else is going to be like, this is a beginner's class. So we're all going to have different perspectives. So like you're saying, it's more about them. So it shows how ugly you are inside, guys, when you are actually saying these ugly things out there. So watch it and wash your mouth. Candice,
Sanitize
um,
your mouth.
yeah, sanitize your mouth and your aura. Sanitize everything. Candice, I've had such a lovely time having a chat with you and getting to know you. And we've spoke about some important things. And like I've learned so much also about the industry. Thank you about that. But it's bringing me now towards the end of the interview. And I know you still have to be a mom as well. And now you got a little bit of
Yeah.
you know plan yourself some getaway time, plan yourself, you deserve it.
I will.
So my final question to you is the one that I ask all my guests. So I put you in this time machine, right? And I'm going to take
Yeah.
you all the way back to the Candace, maybe when you started when you were like 14 years old, and you're probably like, let's take it to the moment where they're like, you're growing a little bit, past the line. This is done for you. And you probably felt like, wow, my world is crushed. This is something that I just started and I started to enjoy. And it's the Candace
Mm.
of today, having learned everything that you've learned, walked the journey that you've walked, with all the knowledge that you have, and you only have 5 minutes to speak to the younger Candice and give her advice, what would that advice be?
Well, I tell her to live your life because you only have this one life to live, and to not live it for someone else. In that sense, not listening to what someone else has an opinion about you, to not listen to the no's that are thrown at you. There's so many doors that are closed, but so many will open at the same time. I do really wish that the younger me just sat back and believed in herself a bit more. Something cliche that I suppose we all sit back and wish that we had at a younger age, but it comes with maturity. But if I could take all that away and just say, live your life for yourself, then that would be my end goal. Because once I started doing that and started saying, to hell with what everybody else has to say, even the pros in the industry, it really got me a lot further than what I thought I would have been.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful message. And I love this part of the interview because it always kind of gives you that sense of like you're healing the inner child, from the
Yeah,
trauma, things that she's been through and he's been through and that we didn't know how to process at the time, And now you're saying
yeah,
you only learn these things with maturity and the journey. So it's a beautiful thing to go back and just look at it and be like, you know what? Give that
yeah,
comforting blanket or whatever. Candice, like
yeah.
I said, it's been really a blessing having you on the Price of Fame. I really enjoyed my time here with you. I hope you enjoyed yourself too.
I did. Thank you so much, Lunga. I love talking, so I could do this all day.
Absolutely.
Maybe
No
I
worries.
love talking about myself.
Have another show next week. This might come on next week as well. Okay. So, like in the beginning, somewhere in the beginning, we mentioned that you're going to be doing something, with this initiative with the knitting. What else are you busy with and how can we get? Because I'm telling my audience members that they play a huge part in terms of their support, their likes, their shares, and their donations and all of that stuff. So
Mm.
please drop all your social handles where we can follow you and tell us any big projects that you're busy with that we can get involved in, please. And you do so now.
Cool. So on Facebook, you can follow my Embrace Your Curves account. That is Embrace Your Curves. That's on Facebook. And then on Instagram, it's Candashian underscore CPT. And then the campaigns that I'm busy with, I have an ongoing relationship with the SAPS Belleville. So they do a sanitary drive where they are collecting sanitary towels throughout the year. And then at different occasions, they would do drop offs. So that's something that's constantly happening in my space. And then the current initiative that we are pushing now on social media is the Knitting Elves. So we need people to jump on board to either join in on knitting. You could knit a jersey and a little bonnet for babies that are in need. If not, you can make a donation of just 30 Rand that would be able to purchase a pack of wool at ShopRite or Checkers. Alternatively, you can purchase the wool and have it dropped off at some of our drop off locations that is available if you DM me. Yeah, and we are aiming to do this drop off to the babies by 1 December. We have um, we have looked at some homes that we want to do it and at some state hospitals as well. It's mainly for babies that are left, unwanted at birth and then they don't even have a single vest or jersey to wear. So yeah, that's our aim.
It's a lovely and a beautiful initiative. I'm definitely gonna jump on that and try and help in places where I can. But it's a lovely,
Cool.
lovely, beautiful. Like I said, I have a huge heart for giving back and all of that stuff, especially the less fortunate and the forgotten people. So yes,
Yeah.
I will be teaming you with in terms of how I can help in terms of moving forward. But furthermore, Candice, I've had a lovely time. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, but is there else that you feel that you want to share or anything else that you want to say to the people before I let you go?
No, I think I've said everything that I wanted to, but thank you so much, Lunga, for having me. I always feel like I haven't lost my touch yet if I'm still being asked to join in on an interview. So, thank you so much for keeping my brand alive and for expanding it to your audience as well. And yeah, all of the best. I love this initiative that you have I've learned so much from some of your guests that I didn't actually know about them. So it's really interesting to hear some background stories from people.
Mm. Yeah, that's the aim because with learning about these stories, we learn that we are not so different from them, and it sometimes inspires
Exactly.
you, or you actually add more love and respect to the people that you already know. So I'm glad,
Yeah.
and I hope it's added more love and respect to who you are now because we got a chance to hear your mind, we got a chance to know where your heart is and how and what you're busy doing and your passion and everything like that. So it's been a pleasure to me also because I've always just seen you on social media and I've also just seen you at events, but now I feel like
Yeah.
you on a real level. So thank you for allowing yourself to be a guest on the Price of Fame.
Cool.
it's been a pleasure, it's been a blast. And now I'm gonna let you go. So thank you very much, and you
Cool.
may join the rest
Thanks
of your
so
family.
much.
See you.
Thank you, Luga. Bye bye.
Yes, bye bye. All right, that's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I got it right because you must point the other way when you're on the other side. Not that you care, but okay, I had to figure it out. That's it from me, and that's it from Candice Manuel. We had a lovely conversation. We went over some difficult things and we went over some amazing things, but overall, it was very informative. I had a good time. I hope you enjoyed this episode as well. We are still coming to you. The price of fame is hard and knocking. I ain't never gonna stop. But that's it from me for tonight. My name is Lunga Tshuka. I've been your host. If you want to follow me, you can catch me on Facebook. That is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. That's Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. And on Instagram, you can catch me at Lunga Tshuka, at Lunga Tshuka. And for exclusive snippets and interviews of The Price of Fame, I have a separate account on Instagram that is The Price of Fame ZA. And in the bio, you'll find the link to my YouTube page where you'll find all the other episodes. You heard there, Candice said she's learned so much about these people. So if you haven't been there yet, go and check it out. My name is Lunga Tshuka. That's it. And once you're there, like, share, and subscribe. This is it from me. This is it from you. This is The Price of Fame.